Welcome, warrior. I am here with my better half, legal Lionel, tonight, putting on his legal hat. I want to welcome all of you and also thank you right up on top for joining us. Thank you, Edie, for being a member. Oh, I feel like the entire life of the Warriors. Thanks for all the support, the donations,
And
the sharing of the videos. And Edie, thank you for your most recent artwork, Mr.
an original Edie Crowley.
I was calling you Mr. L, but I'm Mrs.
Yes.
L actually, and you're Lionel for the bookmark for your upcoming birthday, which is August 26th. Everybody.
Indeed.
But tonight, I wanted Lionel to put his legal hat on and discuss something that really is what I'm going to call, see if you agree with me, the internet, their big tobacco moment. I'm going to label it like that because just last week, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals out of San Francisco, correct, said that the thousands and thousands of lawsuits across the United States will be allowed to proceed against Meta and Alphabet and TikTok and Snap. So Americans have a chance with their kids, with their families to go to court. And they're saying this is over product design. And big tech spent millions upon millions fighting, allowing these lawsuits to go forward, always on the argument of Section 230, that gives them an out, that they are a third, they're like a billboard or a newsstand. They can't be held responsible for third-party content. And what's interesting is we still have a Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, but this judge said, no way, we are allowing the lawsuits to go forward. Let's bring it on. Now, this doesn't mean, right, Lionel, that anybody is guilty. Any of these big tech platforms are guilty. It just means the door is open for the thousands of lawsuits from the American public, from municipalities. We have school districts. We have 24 state attorneys general right now, thousands and thousands, over 3,000 federal lawsuits right now alone. In the state of California alone, 3,300 plus lawsuits. So what I want to start with is, I think this is very good because it's about product design. It's not about content, right? It's about these big tech platforms intentionally put out knowing harms caused, social media harms to youth, especially. They knew this and they still put out these platforms, these devices. And this is, again, product design. Oh, how do we know this? We know this because of studies. We know this because of whistleblowers. We know this because of internal memos that have been leaked. And so what I want to start with and ask you, so there's thousands and thousands. And since this happened, I'm sure there are thousands and thousands of more lawsuits. I think virtually almost everybody has a right to sue big tech.
You're going to see more, yeah.
What is your take on this? Because they're still in denial, big tech. That's the first thing. They're in the right. They're always blaming parents. That's their playbook. It's not up to us. It's up to parents to take control and watch everything. But their focus, as I've always told you for about 2 years now, is AI, artificial intelligence. How do you see this really playing out? Because I don't even know how this would happen. Thousands upon thousands of lawsuits. Why AI just is a runaway train. So what's your take on the whole thing?
Normally, if you see that many plaintiffs, it's like a class action. It happens all the time. Many of you have received those cards in the mail that said, did you go to Radio Shack in the year, whatever? Sign up and you can be a litigant, and you get a check for $1. But over 3 million people, it's a different story. So they can go the class action route or individuals. What happened was the aforementioned social media platforms decided to bring a lawsuit and appeal. And the Ninth Circuit said, which is the intermediate appellate court between the Supreme Court, they said that you're bringing this too early. You haven't even had a verdict yet and you're appealing. Let's go forward. So they said, okay, here's why this is critical. Section 230 was enacted, and it makes complete and total sense, right at the beginning, at the nascent period of the
96,
internet.
30 years ago.
People said, I'm not going to put up AOL or anything for that matter, or Microsoft Explorer or MSN or Yahoo. I'm not going to do this. If we can be sued, if somebody can use our platform to defame somebody, we don't want to consider ourselves a publisher. And the publisher is the person who promotes it, because one of the elements you have to prove in defamation is publication. People heard it. You can't whisper a defamatory statement to somebody, it's got to be said to others. It's got to cause damages also. So what they did was Section 230 said, in no way will you be construed or considered to be a publisher. So you don't have to worry about anything that somebody uses your platform perhaps to defame somebody else. Okay. And big media or social media thought we're pretty much off the hook. Big tech. Big tech said, you know, we're pretty much off the hook now because of the fact that, well, there's no way we can be sued because of Section 230.
That's always been their argument in every
as
lawsuit.
To content.
Right.
What these plaintiffs said was, oh, no, we're not suing you because of the words you put out or the fact that you allowed your platform to be used. The very design of these platforms were intended to elicit addiction and focus,
infinite scrolling and
yes.
stealing minds and youth mental health and eating
so
disorders.
It's the design. So imagine suing gun manufacturers. They did this before. People would say, wait a minute, there's a Second Amendment right. There's the Heller case in DC. And they said, no, we're not trying to ban guns. Guns are fine. It's the design. Maybe there's a hair trigger or something. So this changes everything.
But empowered by the two lawsuits back in March, we had the lawsuit in the state of New Mexico, which was about sharing children's data, their information, minors, okay? And then we also had at the same time California, and that was about product design.
Right.
And we had so many parents we work with there at both trials that they're still in disbelief because this was about Meta, these lawsuits, and that's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and both states found them, and it's a jury of regular Americans, right? Found them guilty for social media harms. Now, we also have to, give a shout out to these brave whistleblowers, these people who have worked at these big tech companies who ethically, and we know some of them, we've worked with some of them, they march with us, have come forward, really putting their lives on the line, who said, I could no longer work there ethically, lawyers, product design people. This is what they were doing. We addressed it and said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, this is not safe for kids. This leads to addiction. We've got so many predators online. And they were always told, basically, like, shut up and do your job. We'll handle it. Okay. And they quit their jobs. And without them coming forward and without a lot of internal memos leaked, those were brought into the cases in New Mexico and California. I don't think the cases would have been won because there's thousands of pages, and they are so brave, these people who have come forward. And there are so many more who have worked at these companies afraid to come forward. But that, to me, do you agree with me? I think that's why these cases were won. So I think that opened, I know it opened the floodgates for everybody now.
People still don't understand what we're talking about. In our generation, people came forward and they said that music was problematic. Lyrics, backwards masking, movies were maybe violent, or movies were sexual, or that was always a content. But here's what this is. Imagine if there was a movie or a TV show, or let's say there was a record or a song that was designed that had a frequency that only kids could hear that said kill yourself or something like that. Then you would say, wait a minute, this isn't the content. This was deliberately, because this knows no corollary. These devices these platforms are made not just to provide information that may or may not fall into the hands of a child. They are designed to addict. And there was this one fellow, I'm going to say it, this fellow on Fox News, one of the morning crew, who said, and it's about time that we tell the parents it's their fault. This old trope and meme misses the point completely. That was written by big tech. This is a case of first impression, as we say. This is nothing we've ever seen before.
Yeah. You bring up some good points. The first thing is,
damn right I do.
I did write to Fox News and say, I'd like to come on for a debate.
No.
And of course, that didn't go
No.
anywhere. I don't care. I
No,
still
no, no,
put-
no, no.
They know who I am.
No,
and it
they.
didn't go-
What I'm saying by saying no is because they're not going to do that
No,
because
no,
you'll
I
destroy
know,
them.
but
Right.
I knew that from the get-go, but I still had to have it in writing and send it to them because I know they know who I am.
Well, let me ask you, everybody who's watching, do you believe, if you believe, yes, do you believe that big tech should be held accountable by designing devices that are intended to addict children? If you think they should be held accountable, press 1 in the comment section. If you think, nah, they're not responsible, it's everybody should know this, then press 2. I want to know specifically. I want to know, what is your vote? Are they responsible? Press 1 if yes, press 2 if no.
Let me say something. Let me go back on what you said about
That's called baiting.
baiting. Okay, well, everybody is
You
you're
encourage this.
you're baiting.
See, Edie says, see, we got.
Edie says.
See, Mark Book gets
No, but
it.
here's the thing: when we talk about the music, and remember, like Tipper Gore was
Right.
going after lyrics on CDs or something like that. It's coming back to me. We've never seen, as you pointed out, the infiltration of big tech in our lives. It is basically everybody's on these devices at home. We're running our lives. Think about it, by apps and platforms. The kids are forced into this schools, clubs, right? Books have gone away. I'm all over the place here, replaced by the Kindle,
Mhm.
everything's a device pretty much. We learned so much in the last 30 years. Now, that being said, we also learned what's going on. I mean, we have the leaked internal memos of Mark Zuckerberg himself saying, I would never allow my children to use these platforms. We're in it for the advertising dollars. We're in it to addict the youth, their eyeballs for lives, so we can get the money rolling. And platforms like Roblox, where the kids are buying the Robux and all that. It is a complete, and also Mark Zuckerberg saying, for instance, kids are herd animals. They'll do anything we tell them. Their brains aren't developed. I mean, these are part of the internal memos. Now, that being said, we talk about Mark Zuckerberg a lot. Sam Altman, OpenAI and all that, just as bad with all of this. So we never had, so getting back to Tipper Gore, this is different now. This is a total
This is what I'm
infiltration
saying.
in our lives. That was a CD that, some kids listen to, or some of our youth. This now, the kids, I like to say 30 and under, digital bubble.
That was an argument about content.
Content, right.
Imagine if a CD had in it, again, a frequency, a sound. Let's say there was a movie that they used to think about subliminal. They proved it didn't work. But let's assume there was something that was designed. The message could be, go to school, be good. It doesn't matter what the message is, but the point is, it was designed to addict, to make you. People say, believe it or not, that when food products are devised, they learn how to balance sweet, savory, fatty. They have things that just taste good. That's kind of what this is.
Remember we saw that documentary years ago about sugar,
right?
And all of that. Yeah.
So what this is for the first time that parents are saying, you lured kids. You designed your devices to addict children, and parents did not know this. They just thought it was something they could just put down anytime they want. Why do you think if we have to still have warning signs on the side of cigarette packs, right, where we all know this, you mean to tell me that, don't you think it makes sense to tell people about the design of this?
Well, listen,
before people knew how addictive this was?
Why do you think this is the only business that goes unregulated? Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, truly, there's no regulation right now with big tech. What can you say about that?
About what? I'm sorry.
Big tech has no regulation. There's there's no oversight. They run, there's no transparency.
Because nobody knows what it is.
We don't know who's on these. We keep hearing, when they're dragged in front of Congress, which I frankly have had enough with, because they lie in front of Congress, which I thought was against the law. You're lying in front of Congress. We know this. This is fact. They do everything in their power to keep kids safe. They have child safety teams, but we don't know, do they? How many people are on these teams? Who are these people?
They would argue that we don't have regulation the same way water heater industry doesn't have regulation. You're responsible if the water heater blows up or something goes wrong.
What about recalls? You recall a defective product.
What I'm trying to say is that the regulation that a lot of things have is in the product itself. And if something goes wrong with it,
that's why
you can sue if you're hurt or harmed or whatever. But nobody regulates, like, for example, whether water heaters are good, or so big tech is so brand new. And of course, we don't want to get in the way of China and the innovation. That when you ask about, well, what type of regulation are we talking about? We're not talking about the radiation that's given off in screens or whether it hurts your eyes. We're talking about the design of certain programs, certain applications that are designed to addict children. And once they do this, the harm part is second. Yeah. We're talking about just the design, Later on, we'll find out what is being allowed.
Now,
very complicated.
I do think it's very important. I like to say parent up. Parents are the first line of defense, okay? But why is all of it always put on parents? Or at least that's the propaganda put out there. Yes, parents, you probably buy these devices, you pay for the internet and the routers. You do, I think, have this duty of care in your own home to put every guardrail, safety feature you can find, which they do. Like an Apple iPhone comes with 31 steps to get to some safety guardrails. Right. We do know from a lot of our studies with a lot of our colleagues that most of these safety features, maybe 50 something percent of them actually work. Mm-hmm. So they don't work. We know things like the Apple App Store, right? Most of those ratings, about 62%, are wrong. For instance, it'll say 4+, and then we'll find sexual content, on it. And of course, a parent will think, okay, if little Charlie wants, this game and it says 4+, it must be okay, mm-hmm. right? And they're not watching that. So you must be that first line of defense. But why? And it's finally coming to a head where big tech has some responsibility. Now, the problem with this is right now, big tech has all the money. They have the power. Right. They've got these lobbyists in Washington.
And they're constantly being told that we can't do anything to affect big tech because China lives in a world that's unfettered, and we don't want to do anything.
Well, China, and what I agree with is for their children, okay, 40 minutes of TikTok a day. Remember, it's TikTok.
What I'm trying to say, though, is that whenever somebody says we must limit this, they will use China as an excuse.
That's their playbook,
to stop, to stop innovation, to stop. And we're saying, no, nobody wants to stop innovation.
We're pro-technology and pro-innovation.
Then when you have big tech paying through lobbying inordinate amounts of money to stop this, that's what this is about. The good news is that people are catching up. Look at the Black Poster Project. Look at so many people and groups who recognize.
That is the hope. We do have so many more parents. We have so many more schools coming across doing the bell-to-bell programs, keeping the phones out of the classrooms from bell to bell during the day. We've got more parents just saying, no, my child, I want a textbook, I want paper and pencil. We've got, as I mentioned, 24 state attorneys general suing. Okay. But here's what I want to talk about right now, because while all this is going on, and this is, well, you taught me as a lawyer, law always lags behind technology, which I'll never understand, because we're jumping in like with lawsuits after the fact, as opposed to we got to get in there before and intervene and prevent, right? So now we're sitting with AI and talking about China. What I wanted to say is for their children, they're allowed 40 minutes a day on TikTok. Okay, they're allowed. And that's the other thing. If everybody remember the TikTok thing, we're going to ban it. Yeah. Remember the administration, and we're not going to allow it.
That was in the CIA.
It's China. It's this. Fast forward, the divesting. It is still owned, everybody. Let me just bottom line it. China is still involved. Nobody's talking about it. I've been asking the ethical technologists I work with. Nobody understands it. 2 years later, they're still involved, China. Not only are they involved, fairly recently, the government said, okay, CIA, Department of Justice, you can all go back on your TikTok, because they had banned it about 2 years ago. Come back on. And nobody's understanding. And as far as China, their content for their children is educational, is about their country and nature and self-care. So we're allowing them with their products and their designs and TikTok to basically unalive a lot of our kids and harm our kids. And we're allowing things like fentanyl, coming through from China, through Mexico, up into the United States, being sold, these drugs on Snap with two clicks. Kids are buying and having drugs delivered. I mean, it's horrendous. But I want to talk right now about AI, because there is tremendous public pushback.
Oh yeah.
There actually is a 38th city, it'll be more by the time this happens, coming up. It's a bus tour. It's a bus going around with all these data centers. The public does not like, over 80% of the American public, 82% was the last study recently, do not want all this AI. Teachers, again, are afraid for their jobs. Remember, this is their livelihood. They don't want it in their classrooms. They don't want to be responsible for managing AI and all these programs with kids. They want to teach. So they're afraid to push back because they'll lose their jobs. Nobody knows what's going on. But the AI, these data centers, I mean, China, and I think I have to investigate, I think you told me, they have only in the whole country 8 data centers.
Well, now, if it's 8, they have this idea of people saying, well, we have to have these data centers to basically steal all your, think about this, to steal your natural resources and your water. They don't need to do that. Let me say something very quickly. Every now and then something will happen where people change their minds. I don't know why, they just will. Where something becomes bad. People say, we don't like this anymore. The majority of people in this country, a lot of people do not smoke, not because of government regulation, but because we decided we don't smoke anymore. We just don't. Conversely, if all of a sudden somebody decides that tattoos are the rage, they're going to be the rage. All of a sudden, people said we don't like AIs, we don't like data centers, and the next is thrown into the mix, even though they're slightly connected, flock cameras. We have become a group of post-Orwellian privacy advocates. People are saying for the first time, we hate this. And you're seeing this new convergence, as I tell you all the time. The right is meeting the left. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, yes or no? Press number 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do data centers alarm you? Do they worry you? Do you think they are something that this country should be scared about? If yes, press 1. If no, press 2.
I mean, can you imagine these things are popping up across the United States? Texas is the #1 state for all these data centers in neighborhoods. And the lights are going, these weird blue lights, people are reporting 24 hours a day. Electric bills have tripled in a lot of areas.
To make up,
They're also predicting that, I mean, within 10 years, we're not going to have water supply. I think it'll be much faster if this is allowed. Now, with all this being said, I was also reading today, again, I have to do some more research on this, that a lot of these AI companies pulling back a little bit, letting employees go, not investing. OpenAI cut their investment in half. Mm-hmm. I don't think they ever expected the American public, who basically sort of is asleep on this. I don't know why, the child safety and the predation and big tech, but there's something about the AI now, okay, that involves everybody, and these data centers in neighborhoods.
Right, Sam Altman
pushing back.
Sam Altman and others, and Anthropic and Palantir and others, they never thought. They just thought they would be embraced because it's so cool. But it wasn't necessarily just AI. People are worried about their jobs. People worried about a lot of stuff, and it's becoming, like, for example, the watermark that exists in writing, and people are always like, if you put any type of like on X, for example, you can write the most ridiculous thumbnail of Donald Trump in a tutu on a unicycle, and they'll say created by AI. It's like, we know that. They want to go out. They want it always to be pointed out. So for something that has become so much of a luxury that is incorporated in our life, we sure spend a lot of time warning people, this is it. Be careful. We're on to you. So they never thought this was coming.
Yes, they never expected, from my sources, that there'd be this public pushback. I just want to share that the group with the bus tour is Humans First, and it's a woman named Amy Kremer out of Texas. Again, the leading state for all of these data centers. I just want to throw in, interesting that Senator Ted Cruz is the one that we had a lot of problems with our Kids Online Safety Act. He's from Texas, everybody. With, pushing forth with a duty of care, that the big tech companies, again, everything we're talking about, put out a reasonable product. They have a duty of care to put out a safe product with the pushback. But I'll keep you
But what's his position on this?
Well, okay, so everybody in Washington right now officially is on recess. They come back
Mhm.
after Labor Day. However, there are different staff still working. We're still working behind the scenes to be ready. The clock is ticking for the Kids Online Safety Act. Again, Senate version 1748, Senator Marsha Blackburn and Senator Richard Blumenthal. Right now, it was passed out of Ted Cruz's Energy Commission a couple of weeks ago, right before they all went on recess. And what happens now is the Senate and the House have to come together and find common language, okay? And then it goes to President Trump's desk for signature into law. Now, the problem has always been the House. The House took what was originally passed out of the Senate, 91-3, pretty good, right? And they gutted it. They gutted the language. They took out duty of care. They had stuff about, I don't even know, nobody even knows what. And it sat and collected dust for a year and a half. No movement to the floor for markup, voting. A lot of pushback. At the Warriors, we've worked extensively behind the scenes, going straight to the president, urging we need action on this, and we're chipping away. So we will see after Labor Day. We need this to be in this Congress, because if it doesn't happen, come to a floor vote and get to the president's desk, what happens? You start all over again with Congress. And we know, because we've spent 4.5 years working on this, it just happens in Washington. It will die, the Kids Online Safety Act. That is why I'm urging all of you, House.gov, Senate.gov, you find out who represents you. It'll give you an email, it'll give you a phone number.
And the legislation again is called?
You just write Kids Online Safety Act.
KOSA.
KOSA. And you urge them, please support Kids Online Safety Act. It's all you write, because we're going full force this week and next week and working. So when they come back after Labor Day, that we are ready to hit them. I'll be going to Washington more, marching in those hallways again, going to all those who have been sitting on the sidelines that need to support this. It's interesting, but it has to happen. And we're losing Senator Blackburn. She's running for governor, and she's been really a shout out to her for over the years of child safety on Capitol Hill. She's really been steadfast and at the forefront of all. So we're losing a tremendous advocate.
And President Trump has also been absolutely, it's always not perfect, I'm not sure, but he has done more than the prior administration did.
Well, they did nothing.
Down, absolutely.
They did, but
they were obstructionists.
Right. But we do. Here's the thing: we do have a lot of hope. We're pointing out, humans first. Bus tour, pushing back on AI themselves taking out, investment, letting employees go. I just thought of something. It's a totally different subject, but Anthropic. Have you seen the stories about the wife?
No.
Okay. Well, we always heard a few rumors, but right. It's a rumor, right? So you can't really talk about it, prove anything.
What would be here?
Just rumors about Anthropic. A lot of their doings around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, fast forward, the wife, they have all her communications. She was in contact, seemingly very friendly, because we saw the the communications with Jeffrey Epstein. Anthropic, in investing, she wanted to have a whole porn business with Anthropic, their Anthropic porn business kind of thing. So just the other day, she erased all her social media. Mm-hmm. She's nowhere to be found. She was very vocal for a while, and all of a sudden she's gone. They brought forth all this porn stuff, and she's just off the radar for now. But that's just a little tidbit of gossip, everybody. But the AI is a concern, and we do have a voice, and we do have a lot of hope, and we do, count on you, the public, joining us and being warriors. And helping us. And helping us is not always money, although that helps, but also sharing the videos or sharing the information, in your household, sharing the information in your community. If you're a parent, please get involved in your schools. The days of, dropping your child off in school are over. School, you've got to get in there, especially we're in back to school time, and you have to find out what are your plans in the classroom for. How much tech, how many hours a day will you be on tech? Because we're getting these reports that the day, say it's a 6-hour school day, 5 hours of it is tech-based. The kids are on computers in the classroom. So we have the bell to bell now. In half the states across the United States use bell to bell, no phones. But yet you're letting the child, now think about this, in the classroom all day be on a Google Chromebook doing their work. So the teacher is managing the screens. Do you see what I'm saying? A screen cannot, it's a machine, everybody, cannot, I think that, replace a human, a
No.
teacher, the interaction. What if a child's between something? Only a teacher could see that or promote them, push them to the next level, where a program perhaps will push them down. So,
Or have the wrong algorithm.
or I was
Right.
going to say the
Right.
algorithms they cannot really interpret a human being. Okay. They have no empathy, no feelings. I have to keep saying that because we have these AI chatbots now, these AI companions. We know in teenagers, ages 12 to 17, have admitted over 60% use them on a daily basis. They like having this chatbot, which is a machine, everybody, talk to them about everything from medical to their feelings to their families. Again, the internet is scraping all this information of our kids, I guess, feeding it to these data centers. That, I guess, learning your child. But getting back to the schools, K through 12, it's being pushed. We're going to put AI in the classrooms. That is federally. They want any teacher I talk to, including, it was just in the New York Post the other day, none of the New York teachers know what this AI in the classroom means. Nobody's explained it to them. Nobody's trained them in it. Parents then certainly haven't been trained. The kids, nobody knows. So it's up to us to step forward, speak to your schools, respectfully find out what's going on. When you get that sheet, what are you consenting to as far as platforms? Make sure you know what these platforms are. Look at them yourselves.
Right.
You have to get involved these days. The days of just signing the slips and all that stuff, it's over. We live in just a new world, and our precious kids are under attack. I always tell you, there was a war on for our children. It's right in our faces.
Well, my friends, so if we had to not say in conclusion, but give everybody a big 2 or 3 or whatever the number of takeaways that they can do, they can use, they can involve themselves in to perhaps become actively engaged in this fight, in this war for our children.
Well, the clock is ticking for our Kids Online Safety Act. So I need everybody, I'll put it in the body of the video, house.gov, senate.gov, with one sentence. Whoever your representative is, it'll give you an email. And if you're brave enough, you can call, you can leave a message. Whoever answers the phone, leave it on a voicemail. We urge you to support Kids Online Safety Act. That's it. It takes, you can do so many things within 5 minutes.
And it matters. They count these.
They do count
really, it really matters.
They do. And this is it now. We've got a few weeks. That's it. That's number one. Number two is school time. Getting in there, finding out what they're actually doing in the classroom. Be a class teacher. Go to the board meetings. You have to get involved. I mean, you really have to get involved these days. And the third thing is, I would say, if we have 3 things, you really have to parent up. And you really have to talk to your children, talk to your teens. I know it can be difficult sometimes, but again, you buy those devices, you pay for things probably.
You own them, right?
It's family ownership. It's not I hear, I want to leave my son's phone private. I can't tell you the amount of parents I've talked to who thought that, and their sons are no longer here because they are victims of sextortion. And the parents say if they had only talked to me. So it's kind of a family digital partnership kind of thing. And the kids want to be included. Like, what do they think? Or what apps are you on? Explain to me. Oh, you're gaming? Oh, let me see the game. Let's play together. You got to do it. I mean, you can't sit on the sidelines.
Absolutely.
Because there is a war on for our children. So I'm urging everybody.
And also, what's very
us.
important, if you want to help Lynn's Warriors, of course, always donate and support. That's true. But also, please hit the like button. The like button is, by the way, your ticket to the HOV lane. Liking this video is so important. It puts her and the Warriors into a different category. That's number 1. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Make sure you do this. And number 3, make sure you are subscribed to Lynn's Warriors. Sometimes people are subscribed and then unsubscribed. Those are 3 take actions you need to do to support her work. Follow her. Read. The interviews alone are worth the price of admission because what you're doing is God's work. I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's true. Yeah. Final thoughts, my dear?
My thoughts are, thank you for joining me and
explaining
legalities. I can always count on you to give it to us straight. And we will just really thanking everybody who tuned in, share the videos, talk to your kids, put a smile on your face. Tomorrow is another day. And when you wake up each and every day, I like to say, you must go out and be a warrior.
Indeed, my friend. So that's it. Everybody go out and be a warrior.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.